Alright coders, this one is going to be called MelodyMaker, and it is going to incorporate some of the stuff we've used before and a couple of new things that I think will really enhance your ability to write some cool programs. So this is going to be a program called MelodyMaker, so I'm going to rename my file name here. This is going to be basically a program that makes a song that the player can listen to. We're going to incorporate some instruments, of course, and then some things that you may not have seen before. We're going to use lists and we're going to use blocks, and those should be pretty fun for you, and hopefully you'll see the value of using these kinds of things. First thing we want to do is let's get our drum beat going. So we're going to add a new sprite, and we're going to choose the one here that says drum kit. The picture of the sprite doesn't actually matter. We're just using that to keep apart in our mind the difference between the different instruments that are going to be playing. And let's do with our drum kit an event that when the green flag is clicked, it's going to do a forever loop, and the drum kit is just going to play some different drum music or a drum beat. And so notice I've already got the music block here. If you don't have it on yours, you'll need to click the extension button and then bring over this first one that says play instruments and drums. So here's the music codes, and in our drum kit we want a loop of a drum beat that's going to play. I'm going to play drum, and let's just bring 4 of these over here. It's going to be a real simple drum beat. We can make it more, you can make it more complicated. I'm not a very good musician, so I'm just going to keep mine pretty simple. So I want a tambourine, a bass drum, a closed hi-hat. Don't ask me what that is. I don't know. And then let's do the side stick. Don't ask me what that is. Okay, so when you hit the green flag, your drum kit's going to loop through here forever. That sounds pretty good. You can adjust the length on these if you want some of the drum beats to be a little bit longer than the others. So if you wanted to switch that to 0.5 and 0.5, you get a nice little beat that'll play as long as the program is running. I'll turn my volume up a little. I'm going to stop that. You can fiddle around with your drum beat more if you want. I'm going to move on to our different instruments though. For this one, let's see if there's a piano. No. Instrument. Well, let's grab, it doesn't really matter. I was hoping there'd be like a piano or something. Maybe there's something. We're going to grab the jellyfish. Our jellyfish is going to be the one that's making the music because of reasons. Okay, now the jellyfish is going to be playing different instruments. Actually, no, it's going to be playing one instrument, but we want it's going to be playing different notes. So there's different ways to do this. You can just drag this over here like this with an event, set instrument to piano, come back to music, play a note 60, play a note, and you can click on the number here and change it to a different note here, and when we hit the green flag, it actually works a little bit. We can switch instruments here. Maybe we want an organ. Maybe I want that to duplicate that, and let's add one more here in the middle, and just I'm going to switch that to a 0. So we should hear those 4 notes, a pause because it's going to play note 0 and then those 4 notes again, and we've got a start to a good song. What I think you'll agree on though is if I'm going to write a whole song like this, this is going to be a real tedious way to do this, because if you look at this code right here, and if I decide after putting 50 notes on there that I don't like one of the notes, this is going to be actually kind of annoying to have to go back in and find that note just to change it. So I'm going to add something to our program that you maybe haven't seen before. And we're going to start with this one called My Blocks. Okay, so My Blocks is, notice I click on that, there's nothing here. You've got variables, you've got music. Under My Blocks, the only option you have is this one that says Make a Block. So click on that, and we need to give it a name. So you're always going to want to name it something that you'll remember later. With the song, though, it's a little bit different. You could call it verse 1, verse 2, chorus, whatever. This one's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to call it part A. Add an input so you could send information to the blocks. We're not going to do that, though. We're just going to call this one part A, and click this box here that says Run Without Screen Refresh, and hit OK. And what I want to do is add some code to this block. This block is just called part A. I want to drag all of this code. Let's not grab the top one. Let's grab all of this code over here and put it here in part A. And then when we want to run this code, there's a new thing that appeared over here called part A. So under the operators, variables, My Blocks, there's now a block here called part A. So if you drag this over, you should be able to picture in your mind, when I hit the green flag, what will happen. When I hit the green flag, it's going to set the instrument to the organ, and it's going to run the part A block of code. Well, what does the part A code say? It says to play this note. Let's run it. Okay, did you hear that? It sounded wrong. Come back to and right click on part A and hit edit. Do you see this run without screen refresh? When you have that option checked, it actually runs that really quick, and like it does the whole thing in a fraction of a second, which is bad for what we're trying to do here because we wanted to actually play all these notes. So on this edit, I turned that off, and now watch what happens. And if I want to do that again, I can just do part A again. Okay, could you tell what happened there? It ran this whole bit of notes here twice. Okay, and that's an easy way to do that. The other alternative way to do this would be to duplicate this code and make it really long and really long and really long and really long. That's unmanageable. You'll notice though that my code actually repeats twice. So instead of doing that, I'm going to get rid of this and just drag 4 of these over, and now it'll run through 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put at the end of this a control statement that says stop all. That way when it's done playing our melody here, it'll cause the drum sprite to cancel its forever loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's our song. Okay, we could keep going at this. Actually, let's add another block. We're going to make this one called part B. Don't check that box. Hit OK. Define part B. Part B is defined. Let's put a part B in between the two part A's. Come over here and duplicate the code here because that's easier than easier than just dragging it over. And then what do we want this to be? Maybe I want it to be like a countdown. It's going to go. Stop it. Maybe I'll separate that for a second. Instead of 50, we'll come to this one. And here. Sorry, down here. And you can see I'm just changing the numbers here. You can just type in the number if you want. Instead of 53, I'm going to change this one to 50. And then I'm going to come back up to, say, 57. So what will happen, it'll do part A, part A, part B, part A, part A. So it'll run this, run this, run this, run this, run this. Let's see how that sounds. I think that sounds pretty good. From here, your program's basically done. You can add more blocks. Let's have a part C. Run without screen refresh. Come over here, copy this. Maybe on this one, we want it to be 84. maybe 84. And I like that pattern here. Here we went down 3, so I'm going to change that to an 81. And then down 4, so we're going to change that to a 77. And then from 53 we went down 3 again, so 74. And then up 7, so this would go up to 81 again. This should be the same kind of sequence. And then maybe put that one in here, part B, part C. You can see how you can instantly make your song easier and longer by just repeating well, you get the point. We can change the instrument too if you want to change. Okay, and I'm not saying that that's a great song, but my challenge for you is to come up with a song that's better than mine. And so you've got your tools there, how you can make your different parts, have your different instruments. You can put them together in a program just like this. You can do a loop on your drum kit, and it sounds pretty good. Fiddle around with the tempo. Maybe you want to make parts of the song faster, parts of the song slower. Change your instruments around. I will tell you on this one, I haven't figured out if you can play 2 different instruments at once. The program is just keeping track of what instrument is playing, and so if your code changes it, I think it changes for the whole program. But I'm curious to see what kind of song you can make up.